Rain hits concrete, blood mixes with water, a black suit torn at the shoulder, breath slow, controlled. Men circle him, guns raised. One whisper travels through the underworld. It's him. Not anger, not panic, just recognition. In John Wick, when Viggo learns his son killed John's dog, he doesn't argue, he doesn't threaten, he simply says, "Oh." Before the suits, before the myth, before the suits, before the myth, before Baba Yaga, a man who wanted out. In the canon of John Wick, John completed an impossible task to leave the High Table's world. One mission, countless bodies, a calculated negotiation with power. He didn't beg for freedom, he earned leverage. That's the first law of persuasion in the Wick universe. Leverage speaks louder than words. Psychology backs this. In Influence, Robert Cialdini explains authority and scarcity as core principles of compliance. John embodies both. Rare skill, proven record, myth-level authority. He never says, "Respect me." His history says it for him. Spike. A spoiled son, Iosef, tries to buy John's car. John refuses. No long explanation, just a calm no. Hours later, violence erupts. Why didn't John argue? Because persuasion is not about changing everyone. It's about recognizing who is persuadable. In negotiation psychology, this is selective engagement. You don't invest in low-probability conversions. Chris Voss, in Never Split the Difference, teaches calibrated questions, but also knowing when silence is power. John understood something deeper. You cannot persuade arrogance. You position consequences. Escalation. When Viggo calls Aurelio after his son assaults John, Aurelio says one name, John Wick. That's it. Reputation closed the conversation. According to Cialdini's research, social proof reduces cognitive friction. When credible sources validate a claim, resistance collapses faster. Aurelio became the external validator. John didn't campaign for influence. He built it once and let it compound. Extreme low, his dog. A final gift from his wife. Taken. In trauma psychology, emotional loss heightens focus and narrows cognitive bandwidth. But John doesn't spiral outward. He channels inward. He doesn't shout revenge speeches. He digs up his past, literally. Gold coins, guns, identity. In John Wick, Chapter 2, we see the infrastructure of power, the Continental, the markers, the High Table, systems of obligation. Here's the persuasion lesson. Systems are stronger than emotions. When Santino presents the blood marker, John resists, but rules bind him. Commitment and consistency. Another Cialdini principle. Once you give your word in a structured system, breaking it destroys reputation capital. John honors the marker, not because he wants to, because persuasion at the highest level is self-persuasion. He lives by a code. Spike. The catacombs. A $7 million contract placed on his head. Every assassin in New York activated. This is social proof weaponized. When the world bell believes someone is targetable, momentum builds fast. But watch closely. John doesn't chase everyone. He moves with surgical precision. In behavioral economics, choice architecture, discussed in Nudge by Richard Thaler, explains how environment shapes decisions. John controls terrain, tight hallways, limited sightlines, reduced options. When options shrink, behavior becomes predictable. Legendary identity peak, the museum scene, glass shattering, reflections everywhere. He fights calmly, reloads precisely, counts bullets, measured heart, measured motion. This is persuasion without dialogue. Every movement communicates inevitability. Then the ultimate line in John Wick. Chapter 3, Parabellum. Guns, lots of guns. Simple language, clear intent, no over-explaining. In communication theory, clarity reduces resistance. Complexity breeds doubt. John speaks in minimalism. And minimalism feels certain. Downfall. He breaks the ultimate rule. He kills on continental grounds. Excommunicado. Status. Revoked. Assets. Frozen. Time limit. 1 hour. Identity stripped. This is what happens when persuasion loses alignment with system rules. Influence collapses instantly when authority withdraws legitimacy. You can feel it physically. Breathing tighter, city louder, every face a threat. Even legends bleed. But transformation begins in scarcity. It's designing environments where outcomes feel inevitable. John never convinces rooms with speeches. He convinces them with history, shock, anger, isolation, relentless movement, then control. In the end, persuasion isn't about making someone think it was their idea. It's about becoming someone whose existence makes resistance irrational, like a quiet "oh" in a dark room. No debate, no pressure, just certainty. And the world adjusts. In crisis negotiation literature, survival depends on adaptability. John seeks alliances. The Bowery King, Sophia, former enemies. Persuasion shifts from dominance to collaboration. He doesn't demand loyalty. He reminds them of shared history. Shared narrative increases compliance probability. Social bonding research confirms this. People cooperate more with those who activate common identity markers. John doesn't say, "Help me." He says, "Remember." Extreme low again, shot. Falling from a rooftop, body broken, but myth intact. Reputation is the final persuasive asset. Even when he falls, the high table fears the possibility of his return. And that is the ultimate persuasion lesson from John Wick. Become so precise, so consistent, so aligned with your code, that your presence shifts decisions before you speak. Persuasion is not manipulation. It's identity. It's leverage built over years. It's honoring commitments even when painful. It's knowing when silence is stronger than argument.